Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Well, good evening then.
Oh, good night.
And good.
I got.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Taco Bell drive-thru. I'm putting it out in the atmosphere.
That is amazing.
Wouldn't it be great? Just go through, get myself two crunchy taco supremes and a 7-layer.
Dear Taco Bell.
Wait, hold on. Write them in a letter in a second, because they didn't actually spend any money.
Okay.
So we should shout out our actual sponsor before our fantasy sponsor?
All right. I mean, I'm just telling you to do something.
You know what? Write your letter. I want you to write that.
Real quick, dear Taco Bell, I respect that you are taking our health seriously.
Yes.
But get rid of that Fresca shit with the Fresca menu.
What are you doing?
You know what? If you want to eat healthy and you're going through a Taco Bell drive-thru and you're trying to make the best of it, fine. But give them a separate menu that I don't have to look at, because you're taking away from the pictures I want to look at with your Fresca menu, whatever it's called.
You talking about segregation? They get their own window?
No. There's a
their own restaurant, y'all.
A separate menu. Like,
you healthy Taco Bellers could go to your own.
Before you pull up to the menu with the speaker box where you're talking to the microphone, there's another little, like, you know those signs that when people are running for mayor or something, you put on your lawn?
Yeah.
That, just a little Fresca menu with that before the real menu.
Right.
And if you want something Fresco, whatever it's called, I don't know if it's called Fresco.
Fresco?
Something like that. Yeah. You want some lettuce with water on it? Yeah, that's...
Oh, I have heard that their lettuce with water is amazing. It's soaking. It's literally soaking. Hey, guys, welcome to Juan Epstein.
Hello.
Juan Epstein with the one and only Mr. C.
Ooh.
Finally. This is a big deal. Very excited
about weird.
What?
Mr. C, and then you said finally, and C. Pennison sings the song Finally.
Mind blown.
That just happened.
That's crazy. Damn, don't say it so fast. It might take me too long to find CC Peniston. Hey, guys, I want to give a quick shout out before we get to this Mr. C Juan Ep. And, of course, we have to talk about, the latest in the dealings with, Carhartt Girl and everything else that's going on in the world. I want to give a big shout out to our good friends over at Squarespace. Ciph, have you gotten started yet? Are you delayed?
No, I had a couple issues with my domain, but I fixed it. I'm going to do it this week.
Oh, wait, you were searching for the right domain.
I have the domain. I didn't have the password to get into my domain to connect it to Squarespace, but the directions...
Why are you making it complicated? Because Squarespace is so easy.
The Squarespace part that the guy told... I have the whole thing designed. It's super easy.
How fast? And keep in mind, guys, Ciph didn't know how to use a computer as of 2 weeks ago.
No, I didn't even know how to use it.
He thought Serato was a separate thing. That's
I
all
went and bought
Serato.
a Commodore 64, and they were like, don't use that one. But yeah, it's super easy. I did it myself, and I am not computer literate.
No.
So I just got to get the domain. Once I plug it in, beep, boop, bop, it's up.
Dude, Squarespace is incredibly easy and beautiful. And if you go to squarespace.com right now to start your new website or your new store or your new blog or whatever it is you're doing, you put in the code WANEP and they're going to hook you up with a sweet discount, and you're supporting Juan Epstein. You see what I'm saying, Ciph?
Thank you.
It makes it... No. Thank you.
Not you. Thank them.
Oh, thank them.
Thank you for supporting us.
Yes, absolutely. So if you're considering creating a new website, we strongly suggest that you do it with our friends at Squarespace. Not only because they're making the Juan Epstein podcast possible, and I'm not going to lie, I mean, how long have you guys been waiting for the Mr. C episode, and now it's finally happening, thanks to Squarespace. But also, if you're trying to do a website, do it really easily, and you're not, like, super savvy at making websites, because it's not what you do, you should do it at Squarespace.
I found the
Code
website.
WANEP. Yeah.
Sorry, Code WANEP.
That's it.
Code WANEP. The one that I wanted, I saw someone else had it. It was something similar where, like, there's a picture in the background and then the front part, like, kind of fades over it. I was like, I want a website like this one day.
But it was too difficult. It's impossible.
Then I went on Squarespace, and it's like, here it is. Plug in your info. Got it. Done.
Boom. Easy. In fact, it's going to make you realize that a lot of people out there who think they have great websites have been probably wasting tons of time and years and money, and you can get it all done there. So anyways, thanks to them. We're very excited about today's episode. And Ciph, before we get to Mr. C, I'm sorry, before Mr. C cancels on us, what's been going on in the life of Cipha Sound?
Oh, man. Getting a lot of spots at the Comedy Cellar.
You killing over there?
I don't want to say that, but yes.
And so what happens? They ask you back? Like, you do one?
Every week, you send your avails, right? What the dates are available. They do it weekly. Most comedy clubs do it monthly. They do it weekly because they're always like different people are in town from LA, celebrities are in town, blah blah blah. So they do it weekly. So I sent my veils and I got like one, and then I got like another, and I was excited. And then she asked me to host one night. The lady Esty, she asked me to host, and I did pretty good.
Who are you hosting for? Anyone like big or
that night? The first time I host, Attell came. Well, every time I'm there, almost every night, Attell is there.
Attell's there that much?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Can we get him on?
Yes.
Oh, you're like cool with him now?
He knows my name now and gives me a half a handshake.
Did he half a handshake?
Yeah.
But I feel like he never gives a whole handshake.
Right, but he taps me. He goes, "Good job, a great show. We did it." Stuff like that now. And before I didn't. Get
Why
that.
is he there so much? Like
That's his home.
It's just to work out.
What it looks like to me, that's his home. There's a couple people that's their home, and that's him.
But they're not. Are they making money?
Yeah, they don't. They make money.
But like enough money that it's like a thing, or it's just mostly to work out or to get a rush.
Someone like that, he makes money because he's doing 3 sets a night, and then sometimes there at the cellar, and then around the corner at the underground, which is the same, owned by the same company, same people. So it's like you can get $500-600 like on a Friday, Saturday, like, and if you're not out of town making real money, this is your job. Like you make money. Like this is how I have cash in my pockets now. You know what I'm saying?
It is. It's enough that he puts a little cash in your pocket. Like,
yeah, like I don't have to touch my ATM or my. You know what I'm saying? Like this is my cash. And then DJ money I haven't been DJing that much, and that's like money. But then I have to split that money. You know?
Well, it's ever since you started working with that white devil.
Yeah,
Drewski.
Yeah,
always got a hand in your pocket.
Yeah,
you know what they say about the Jewskis. Always with a hand in your pocket.
Oh, yeah, so one night I was hosting, Chris Rock came.
Oh, Jesus. Did he recognize you?
Yeah.
Well, you said it's me, Cipha Sounds.
He recognized me, and I said it's me, Cipha Sounds, and he still gave, what is a little bit better than 0 fucks? 1 fuck? He gave 1 fuck? Half a fuck. He gave half a fuck.
And he's really the reason you're on there.
And I've thanked him twice, and I'm not thanking him anymore, because he doesn't give a shit about my thank you.
The second time you saw him.
Yeah. That was the second time.
Well, what about the first time?
First time he was
zero
like,
fucks given?
Oh, yeah, he was talking to a girl at the bar.
And
like, why are you in my face right now?
Like having a chat.
Yeah.
Isn't he, is Chris Rock freshly single? Isn't he divorced?
He's divorced, yeah.
He's freshly divorced.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he was talking to her like that, but
no, right. He's in a conversation.
He was at the bar in a conversation, yeah.
And you're like.
And I was like, hey, man, I just want to say thanks for getting me in. And he was like, nodded his head and put his eyebrows up. And I was like, all right, catch you later.
Do you think it's messed up that a few weeks ago when I was leaving South by, I had the worst day of travel ever? Flight was changed by like 7 hours.
Yeah,
I was on a really bad streak for a while of travel. I believe is over now. And you know me.
I know you.
If the airport, now that I'm with American Express Platinum, because I'm a boss.
Yeah.
And by say boss, I mean I spent a stupid amount of money for the card every year for like okay perks.
Yeah.
One of which is airport lounges, which I just took advantage of the other day and it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
But Austin didn't have an airport lounge I could use. So I did what I've been doing for 20 years in this game, which is I lay my ass down on the fucking floor and take my shit out. And not my dick or anything. I mean like stuff. And I relax.
Yeah.
Like I lay down.
Yeah.
Lean against the wall on my backpack like a pillow.
Yeah.
I took the computer out. I had free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Turned on wrestling. By the way, volume up, no headphones on. Just volume up. Laying on the floor and fell asleep. I had hours to spend there and I was in a pretty empty gate.
By yourself?
Yeah. Because I was traveling. Me, Nick, and Hip Hop Mike all had like different flights.
Right.
We bought at different times. So I was in a gate that just wasn't crowded.
Right.
Knew it wasn't my gate, but there was,
all day.
There's no way I was sleeping through my flight. It was out for hours.
Yeah.
So, and then I wake up and someone Instagrammed a picture of me asleep on the ground.
Hilarious.
With the caption, 0 fucks given.
That's awesome.
I know, I kind of respect it.
But like normally on a regular travel day, you'd be an anonymous nobody.
That's it.
But at South by, you're fucking Rosenberg.
Well, hold on. I mean, I'd be not only South by, but yes, most likely South by.
No, I'm saying There's a way. An airport could be any random amount of
course,
people like
that know you or don't know.
It's not a hip hop gathering.
No, although I will say, you know, I do get recognized at JFK at the local airports. We get a lot more love. Obviously, you do when you travel.
And I'm not saying I never get recognized at airports.
What percentage, when you think about it, of the staff at JFK know who we are?
Oh, I mean, especially like morning if they're up early going because you got to be at an airport early. Right. You work like an early shift.
So. Although I still haven't gotten... The other day, the guy hit me up with a window seat. He didn't have any better. I want to get bumped to first class for free so bad because that... Have you ever had that?
What?
Have you ever gotten... No, celeb bumped to first class. Like, they recognize you.
Yes.
Yo, Cipha Sounds.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's up, man? And he's like, yo, where you sitting? And you're like, yo...
Yeah.
And you've done it?
Yeah.
Oh, I want that. It's so easy for them.
Oh, it's so super
If it's open, it's nothing.
Oh, if it's open, it's nothing. The guy who bumped me wasn't even like... He was like part of like the... Not the airplane crew, like... Just worked at the airline and recognized me and came and walked over to him. I already sat down in my seat in the back in the coach, and he came and got me.
He's like, come sit up here, man.
Come on, sit. Come on.
Have you ever paid for first class on your own?
No.
You've gotten first class.
Well, when I was on MTV, it was in my contract to be first class. Always. And that's when I built up crazy miles.
Do you get more miles flying first class too?
Double.
Oh my.
Wait, I don't know if it's... Well, because I was an American Airlines
person to start out
frequent
with.
Flyer thing, then it was double in first class. So I was living.
So if I want to say
platinum
something.
status, baby.
So once I start getting bigger jobs, I'm definitely writing into it of first class only.
Yeah.
As of this point, though, still 35 years old. Never.
Not once?
Not once.
No.
Never sat first class.
Oh, that's crazy.
Isn't that psychotic?
That's crazy.
Like, what gigs do you most get first class for? Well, MTV, you got a lot, obviously, so you had it built in. That's great.
Well, I could almost always get it, but then it's like travel alone. I'd rather bring people with me.
Oh, so you get first class by yourself, or you get coach and you get other people?
Yeah, like I like to travel like 3 people, like me plus 2. So they're like, well, we can't do first class then. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm with my people in the back. Put me in the way back. I like the way back.
Nice.
Like when I go to Japan, last time I went, I don't remember when. One time I went, it was for Bape. And they're like, okay, we're going to give you business class. I was like, okay, me and Kev. So we didn't find out till we got there that it was just me.
That was business class?
And he had to sit in the back.
And you were like, did you hit him with an eye show?
Yeah.
You're like, this stinks, man. I'm really sorry about that. And he was like, yeah. And you're like, all right.
You know why? Because I was sitting next to Loic from BBC. So I was like, I'll get some Loic time in.
Yeah, you go.
Sorry, Kev. Yo.
By the way, you would have done it anyway. What are you talking about?
No, I wouldn't have.
International?
Nah.
Hold on. It's already booked. You would have changed it.
Let me tell you something.
If there was opening, you would have went back.
Me and Kev have a system, especially going to Japan, because that's the longest flight ever. We have a system. Kev goes to we take the back row, furthest back or the one right before that, because sometimes the stewardesses take the back row. We go to that back row and we just lay our shit all over the whole row. We put our bag in one seat, a hat in another seat, and Kev just stands at the aisle looking menacing.
Wait. Seats weren't assigned?
Yeah, they're assigned, but people don't like to go to the back, so sometimes they'll be like, the most open seats are in the back.
Oh, because you're saying a lot of times on your random travel days to Japan, the planes aren't full. Because it's a random flight. It's not necessarily full.
Yeah. And they're big. They're huge. They're huge. What's up, bro? They're huge planes, so there's a lot of extra seats. So that's Brian.
Oh, Brian's here. I was like, what the? I was like, Mr. C, you look horrible. Brian, how are you, bro?
Talk to him now before C comes.
Yes, he's running late, so why don't we talk right now? And talk a little about this awesome program.
So hold on. So Kev stands in the aisle.
Menacing.
And plus, Japanese people are just so accommodating.
Oh,
so when they see Kev and he's like, what's up? They go, okay, we sit in the front.
Oh.
And we get the whole row. And then what you do is, as soon as you get on that plane, you start extra nice to the flight attendants. Extra nice. How's your day? Oh, you ready for this long flight? Small talk, extra nice. So that so they won't put people near you because they could be like, oh, there's open seats in the back. We're like, let us get this. and extra nice, and then extra snacks and pillows and all that shit.
Hand job?
A couple of hand jobs.
Have you ever got a hand job?
Not to completion.
You have, though?
What do you mean, a hand job?
I meant on the plane from like a
Oh,
stewardess.
no.
That would have been like Biggie.
No.
That would have been amazing.
No, nothing on the plane.
I would have thought you
I had nothing on the plane.
Speaking of hand jobs, how close to baby time are we?
With like 3 weeks.
Oh, my God.
Baby about to drop.
Tick,
Baby about to drop.
Roommate about to come into play.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's...
Let me give one for you real quick before we... Okay. Oh, Mr. C's here now. What do we do, Ciph?
Oh.
What do we do?
We gotta go see. Sorry, Brian.
It's all right. Do you mind hanging out? You know, watch?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, hang out. See, come on in. All right, Brian. So you hang out. We're going to talk to Brian at the end of the podcast about his very, very cool program. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the one and only Calvin Brodus.
No.
I know.
That's not Brodus. That's Snoop.
I know. Mr. C, what's your last name again?
LeBron. Calvin
LeBron James.
Calvin LeBron James.
Mr. C is here finally on the Juan Epstein podcast. Make yourself
Been on your
comfortable.
podcast before, I think.
Quickly, you've been jumped in.
Yeah, jumped in.
You've yelled at us countless times, trying to get us to speed it along.
Are we on video too or no?
No video today.
No video. Okay.
We don't have video in place yet, but
Okay.
the people couldn't wait anymore, Mr. C.
All right. What's going on?
Oh, man. See. That was good to see you, man.
What up?
When was the last time you guys saw each other?
I haven't seen him since you left.
Yeah, since
that's
November,
weird.
since November 21st, I haven't.
Since the day we were recording a podcast, and Mr. C quit.
Yeah, I was recording a podcast with
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, right?
And Questlove.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle. And now Mr. C has a new radio home.
Yeah, Radio 103.9 in New York City.
He's working with Dominican Drew.
Yeah, who used to work at Hot 97. Actually, Dominican Drew was one of the key people that really recommended the program director and assistant program director over there about bringing me over there. So.
I think they would have found you anyway. I want to give Dominican Drew all credit, but Mr. C, I think your reputation...
No. It really went down like that. It went through Drew, and then Drew went to them. You know what I mean?
He's a good man.
Because I had no way of contacting the program director and the assistant program director. My only way of getting to them was through Dominican Drew. So I went to him. I was like, yo, I want to come over there. I'm ready to move to Urban AC Radio. If y'all don't know what Urban AC Radio is, that's like adult black radio. Mm-hmm. And even when I told Dominican Drew about it, he's like, huh? I'm like, nah, I'm ready, man. So he put me in touch with Ken Johnson and Raphael George, the program director and assistant program director. I had one meeting with them before I left Hot 97. And when I had the meeting, they was like, we don't really, we're not really, it's the end of the year. We're not really hiring nobody yet or whatever the case is. So that was back in October.
Because you were already interested in the idea of moving to Urban AC.
I was already interested for like 5 years. Five years prior, I was already interested in moving into Urban AC.
All right, we're about to start at the beginning of Mr. C, because I can see Ciph glazing over with not giving a fuck about what's happening right now. We want to hear the Mr. C story.
Mr. C every weekend.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, Ciph is a heavy
that
103.9.
C mixes on that 103.9.
Because on the weekends I play, we play old school hip hop all weekend long on Saturday and Sunday. We're the only station in New York. Sorry.
No offense.
No,
we play
all weekend.
Throwback. Saturday and Sunday we play hip or throwback hip hop all weekend long.
Well, and what BLS only plays old school hip hop at night on the weekend?
I don't know. They maybe some of their mixes may play hip hop at times, but we're
straight up old school hip hop.
Old school hip hop on all weekend.
Picture it. Sunday, 2:13 p.m. shadow boxing on the fucking radio, like Jizza shadow boxing, or fucking or Crew Pronto, or fucking Nas Represent.
Yeah.
And like on a Sunday, and you're like,
and that's regular rotation. That's not including me mixing. That's just like a regular rotation song.
They'll put those in rotation on the weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. It's called the Weekend Boombox. Check it out. You can log on to radio1039ny.com.
All right, let's not overplug the other company.
Hold on. Well, hey, man, they're giving me the check.
I'm just kidding.
Or you can get the Radio 103.9 app. It's free for iTunes, Google Play. Just type in Radio 103.9, iTunes, Google Play, get the free app. But the Weekend Boombox is crazy. So I'm mixing like 4 hours on Saturday, 2 hours on Sunday, straight classic hip hop.
I will say the one drawback to it is the amount of freedom you have. Because
where does he
go from
where does he go?
He'll go from like a 80s like records that I don't really know too well, like a Fearless 4 or one of them joints. From that into like a Biggie joint, like it's like so
because
random.
because the playlist is 80s to the early 2000s,
Right.
Wow.
So it's a very wide selected playlist. So yeah, I can go from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 to a Method Man record, because it's just a wide playlist, and there is no playlist. It's just they just told me
some
play
of those 80s records,
just play
man.
from 80s to, but you got to remember also it's an older demo, so
No, Cipha, you guys, how embarrassing it would be. You and I are considered so hip hop knowledgeable. We have this great podcast where we go into such depth. If you and I were to sit with Flex and C and have a conversation about early 80s hip hop, they would literally think we didn't listen to rap.
until 86.
Until 86.
Yeah.
Until it got to the era. We don't know anything.
No, you guys know the music.
I don't know.
Kinda.
I don't know it.
Not know it. I know it the way like generic regular people know it.
Because you got to remember now, if I'm doing the Weekend Boombox on Radio 103.9 and I play, let's say I play a Crew record,
Yeah.
then somebody that's 40 plus is going to be like, what the
Right.
hell was that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I want to
definitely.
hear Fat Boys, or I
Right.
want to hear Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force or something like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so with the wide playlist, it gives you a balance from
No, of course.
somebody from their mid 20s all the way to their 40s.
Of course.
To listen.
Or 50s even. I mean,
Yeah.
All right, so C. Cipha, I'm going to let you anchor the beginning of this.
No,
What?
I have.
Too much?
How do you start?
Yeah, how do you start
Yeah,
with this?
how do you start? LG Projects, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I was.
Well, hold on. We're sorry. Now I thought of something. Okay, so a couple weeks ago we had Easy Mo B.
Uh-huh.
He gave us some stories about you. Who else did we have that talked about?
Salam, I think, mentioned C too.
Salam Remy?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think Salam mentioned C. I don't know. C comes up a lot.
There was another main one. Not
What, recently?
Easy Mo B.
Did Finesse mention him too?
People mention it, but not
I used to
like,
hang out with Finesse
Oh,
all
anyway,
the time.
go ahead.
I used to hang out with Lord Finesse all the time.
So I think you may have come up there.
It was
too.
like we had like our little crew, back in the late 80s, early 90s. Me, Lord Finesse, Greg Nice, DJ Premier, which is a weird combination when you think about it, but we used to always just kind
Premier's
of
a weird Bronx, Brooklyn.
we always kind of used to just hang
Transport.
out. And then me, Premier, and Greg Nice, me, Premier, and Greg Nice was super tight because we was collector of porno movies.
Of course.
So we used to always trade porno movies together.
DJ Premier favorite pastime.
Didn't he say he gave it up recently?
Yeah, I think he recently gave up his collection.
Yeah,
I think it was
I
like-
still have mine. I got
on
like
cassette.
I got the VHS.
Oh my.
I got like tubs full. Like tubs. You go to Home Depot and they got those big them fucking tubs. Them big plastic joints you just fill stuff.
Are they
Yes,
organized
pornos.
or it's just a mess?
Organized by Porno Star.
By
Star.
Star,
Like
okay.
Vanessa Del Rio section.
She was killing it. She got a big section.
You
What
know
if it's a
I mean?
compilation?
Sahara. I don't know if y'all remember Sahara. I got my Sahara section.
Heather Hunter?
Section. So
The greats. The greats.
Yes.
So C, what was your intro to music?
Wow. My uncle Barry, who I grew up with in my grandmother's house in Lafayette Garden Projects in Brooklyn, he was a DJ in like the 70s and the disco era and what we call now the breakbeat era. And just by watching him, that's how I started learning how to DJ. It was him and my next door neighbor, Anthony. They used to DJ. And so when they wasn't on the set, because my uncle had a DJ set up in my grandmother's house, Anthony had a set up next door. When they wasn't on the set, I used to sneak on the set and kind of emulate what they would do.
How old are we talking about? Like
12.
Okay, kid.
Like 11, 12 years old.
But who's Anthony? What was his DJ name?
Anthony, I cannot remember Anthony's DJ name, but my uncle
But he
Barry's
was older though. He was
But
like your
they're
uncle's
both
age.
yeah, they're both older, same age. My uncle's name was DJ Knight, so it was like him and his crew. Anthony was a part of his crew, so it was DJ Knight and the Knights of Hollywood. That was their whole DJ crew name. So when they wasn't around at home, I would just sneak on the set and kind of try to emulate what they did. Even my friend Anthony, my uncle's best friend, his mother and father would let me come in their house and practice while Anthony wasn't there. And then, of course, once my uncle and Anthony would find out that I was on, they said they would get mad, but then I
What do they have? What were the turntable situation?
They had Technique Quartz. That's when we had back then it was Technique Quartz turntables. I want to say either 1600 or 1800 quartz turntables.
But those were good, right?
Yo, absolutely.
They were direct drive.
Direct drive, yeah. They was great. And then they had like the Clubman mixer.
What was the Clubman mixer?
The Clubman mixer, it's like, it was a big black mixer, but it you know, you had your regular up and down and your crossfader, but like, you know, you had like a bunch of switches on it as well. You had to click the switch to hear yourself on the cue and the headphones or whatever. So they had the Clubman 101 mixer, and they had the Clubman 102. They had different versions, but that's what that was the most famous mixer they had, the Clubman mixer. And then I started off making pause tapes first. You know, I don't know if y'all know what a pause tape is. But a pause tape, you know, Why are you looking at me?
I'm looking at you because C said, I don't know if you guys know what a pause tape is.
I mean, because y'all talking about y'all don't know about the 80s and all that shit.
You know what? Explain the pause tape for people who may hear the name, may hear it a lot, but not fully get it.
I used to start making pause tapes, which was back in the late 70s, early 80s. You have a cassette recorder, and let's say you take a record like Good Times, and you'll just take the part of the record good in Good Times, but you kind of record just that part and then pause it back. And then record the part good again, and then pause it back. And so you're kind of repeating that process. So when it runs back, it's like good times or whatever.
So you could, I didn't realize that part, that people were doing it with the purpose of effects like that.
Yeah. Right.
I always thought it was for the purpose of transitions, like to just jump from one record to the next. In a cool
you
way.
can do like, you can make it, people that was really nice with the pause tapes, like Easy Mo B, who y'all interviewed a couple of weeks back or whatever, he was excellent with the pause tapes. So he would do like, Eric B for president, and it'd be like Eric B, make them clap, make them clap, make clap. And this was a pause, like he was pausing the tape
but
and
this
record.
is like these are the tape decks where the buttons would like kind of stick out.
Right.
So like, and those were way better for the
pause
accuracy.
With. Right, because once you press it down, it's pause immediately. So you would have to have the type of cassette recorder that had those type of pause buttons where once you click it, it's going to pause immediately. Because later on in the 80s...
they did like the electronic pause.
Right, where you would pause and it would like slowly pause.
Yeah.
No, you need the push button where you're literally stopping it with your finger.
On the
right
dime.
on it.
Stopping on the dime.
Like when you hit that button, the lever down...
It stops it.
Right there.
What is it called? The tape head.
Right.
Cut off right there.
Right.
Where the other ones where you like hit pause and then be like click, click.
Right.
You know, and it was
So hold on. But you still would. You could still, once you paused it, you would then take the other one and go to the exact spot you wanted, and then release it again.
Right. Exactly.
You weren't doing it on the fly, crazy.
Or vinyl, right? You'd bring the record back.
You bring the record back
bring
to
the
that
record
part,
back.
right? You bring the record back
catch
to that part, and then you know, catch it, or just throw it in on the pause. Like we would just hold it on like let's say Good Times. You hold it on the good, and then you release the pause button and just throw it in, and then press it back down again.
Well, that was
this is honestly, when you think about it, it's the coolest part about hip hop.
the people sitting doing that for hours.
Yeah,
and hours.
the innovation, the fact that people spent time to try to figure out these cool ways to manipulate the technology.
Yes.
It's with this exact reason that I get annoyed when people look down their nose at technology for DJing.
Right.
Because I'm like, hold on, you try to tell me that if you went back to 1976 and you were like, yo, hey, 12-year-old Mr. C, instead of doing that, I got this thing that'll do that. People are like, no, thank you. I just want to use the hardest way possible. No, you got to take advantage of whatever technology you can and manipulate it however you can to make it good.
I think the technology part is because if you sat and made pause tapes, you loved it.
Yes.
You loved the music.
Agreed.
So now
you don't have
could
to
be
love
a
it.
DJ.
You don't have to love
you
it.
just download it and done. That's the
whack part. I agree.
Taking it even further, my grandmother had a Zenith. A Zenith. She still has it in her living room, and I told her, when you pass away, I need this component. But she has a Zenith stereo. It looks like a dresser. This is like back in the days. Like it looks like a dresser, but it's actually a stereo sound system. So it's about, I would say, 6 feet, 7 feet long. And I used to DJ on that, you know, when she would, you know, play old Motown songs, whatever. And I would try to DJ on that. And that was like serious direct drive or belt driven.
Not direct drive, belt driven.
Belt driven turntable. And the crazy thing about my grandmother, man, she just allowed us to do whatever we whatever was, happy for us as far as music, because music was just always a part of our lifestyle with my grandmother and my grandfather.
What were they into though?
They was into all types of music, just the Motown stuff. Christmas time, Christmas did not go by without hearing Nat King Cole in the house. Just anything.
Well, you black. And you're from the 70s. You were listening to Nat King Cole. What were you doing?
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you didn't back then, Nat King Cole, from Nat King Cole to the Temptations to the OJs, just anything soul music, R&B music in the 60s and 70s at that time. That's what they was listening to. We always had parties in our house. My grandmother and grandfather always threw parties, so their friends would come by. And even though we was in the back room supposedly trying to sleep, we would just be listening to everything that they would be playing in the front room, in the living room, and we kind of grew up under that.
How much of that knowledge do you take as then being records that you would know forever?
All of it, because then once I started my record collection, like that's all. I started from there. Like I started from here, going from what I learned from my grandparents and my aunt. Because it's crazy now. My aunt is a minister now, but back in those days, she was like heavy into the Jackson 5 and the Silvers,
devil music,
and
devil music. That's right.
And Prince. She was a humongous Prince fan. So
the worst.
Devil.
Just taking a little bit of everything I learned from growing up from my grandmother, my grandfather, my aunt, and my uncle. That's how it kind of all started. For me.
You weren't raised by your parents?
I was raised by my mother and father until I was 5.5 years old, and then the place where I was raised to my parents, we had a fire.
Oh.
And my youngest brother almost actually died in the fire. And after the fire, my mother and father kind of separated, and then that's when I started living with my grandparents.
Oh, his father was like, "Oh, this is a great out." This is
Come on. My father was a hustler, like selling weed, and back then you was. If you was hustling, you was selling weed back in those days. So he was heavy into selling weed and running numbers. And then my mother, stayed at home. But they would always get into it. And it's crazy because my mother was like 6 feet tall, and then my father was like 5'4" or 5, and they would just go at it.
And after the fire.
The fire started because of me, by the way, because when my mother and father would leave, I was me being the oldest, I was in charge of the house. So what happened was my mother left. And she told me to cook breakfast for my brothers, for my 3 brothers.
At 5 years old?
I was like 5.5.
Well, I don't know if I blame you fully, you see.
So
you're 5 years old.
And so I'm cooking eggs.
No.
And I cook eggs and bacon or whatever.
Cooking breakfast for a 5-year-old is open this Pop-Tart
and eat
package.
it. And don't cook it. Eat it. Don't put it in the toaster.
And I can't remember what it was, but I got distracted by doing something. And
being 5.
Yeah, the whole house lit up. Really? And the crazy thing is, I don't eat eggs to this day. So my family always say I don't eat eggs because of the fire.
That's crazy.
So once the fire,
that's probably real.
So once the fire happened, it was enough.
After that, then me and
But why not stay with your mom?
Well, my mother wasn't as stable as my father, because my mother was a drug user.
Got it.
So she wasn't as stable as my father was, and my grandparents lived like 5 blocks up in Bed-Stuy from where we lived, so it was just more convenient.
It just made sense. And they were prepared. And hopefully at that point, your grandparents didn't have you cooking food at 5 years old. They would prepare food for you.
Nah, just I never figured the first week when I started living with my grandparents, we had like Franks and beans for like fucking 2 weeks straight. Because now it was like me and my 3 brothers, and then my other cousins. It was like 13 of us in one house, in one apartment in the projects. So, my grandparents was all about making the most quick and effective food that can feed everybody all at once. And it wasn't even about them not having money. It was like, we're going to give everybody something quick to eat. And so that happened for like 2 weeks, and then we stepped it up to the collard greens and all that type of stuff.
When you have your baby, maybe your baby could be cooking within a few weeks.
Yeah, I hope so. She got to get on that stove.
By August, I want your daughter to be cooking.
My brothers used to tease me, man. Like,
what, for burning down the house?
Yeah. They used to tease
That's
me.
a nice joke.
They used to tease me. You started the fire. You started the fire. And then being that I was the oldest, this is a crazy story. So being that I was the oldest, my parents had my 3 brothers called, and I was named after my father. So I'm Calvin Jr. My parents had my 3 brothers call me Mr. Big Man. So Really my two brothers, because my youngest brother was a baby at the time. So they had to address me as Mr. Big Man. Because when they would leave, I was in charge of the house. So if they wanted something, Mr. Big Man, can you go get me a soda from the refrigerator or whatever? So when we moved to my grandmother's house, they were still calling me Mr. Big Man, and my grandmother was like, what? What?
All right,
We dead in that.
So, what's your first memory of hip hop?
Hip hop.
My first memory of hip hop is like, a combination of, going to the park jams and Lafayette Garden Projects in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, and listening to DJs like Master D, who's now known as DJ Lance DJing, and cats like Frankie D DJing. Those are my first memories of hip hop, standing behind the ropes, because back in those days, if a DJ was DJing in the park, they would have a rope around their DJ set so you couldn't come past the rope to talk
So
to
only
them.
like their people would be back there.
Right.
It was a VIP.
Right. So you had to stand behind the ropes, and that was me being a youngin' listening to those type of cats DJing in the park. And then,
But didn't your cousin, your Uncle Barry, never DJ in the park?
no.
Where did he DJ?
He DJ'd like weddings and, friends parties.
He's just local.
Right. He was DJing like friends' weddings and certain events like that. And I was too young to go to those type of events. So the only experience I had of seeing DJs live was going in the back in LG Park and watching DJs DJ in the park.
When this park stuff was happening, it was like all day.
It would start like, I would say, anywhere between 1, 2 o'clock, no later than 3. But then it would go to
Nobody would had to be people around who were complaining. Like,
Nah.
everyone loved the park.
Everybody
jam.
loved the park jams.
There's because there's still old ladies who are probably like, turn this shit off already.
And you got to remember, this is like late 70s, early 80s. So,
I love that you thought that, Ciph, that you went to who was the old lady who should have been complaining about the park jams. That would have been you. You would have stopped hip hop in its tracks.
You got to remember that hip hop was not what it is now at that time. So the DJs was out there playing disco music,
right?
Which the old people can appreciate.
But there's still old people who just don't like music, and like, why don't I don't.
At that time, they had no choice, because the DJ would take they would break into the lamppost, whatever the lamppost that was closest. They would break into the bottom of the lamppost, get an outlet from the lamppost on the bottom, plug in, and that was it.
What about the cops?
At that time, no cops.
Nothing.
And
whatever happened in the projects.
Whatever happened. Only time the cops would come is if it was somebody shot. There was gun shooting in the park, and that happened all the time. But as long as there was no shootouts, nothing
Fine.
was. The cops didn't start really messing with us as far as the park jams until like mid to late 80s. But 70s and the early 80s, absolutely not.
Cool, just whatever.
They used to hang. My mentor, DJ Lance, Frankie D, he used to hang. That's an appropriate record. He used to hang his Sherwin Vegas speakers by the basketball rim. So he would take the basketball rim, put a chain over, and have the speaker dangling over the basketball rim.
Do you remember who the guy was in your neighborhood who was responsible for figuring out how to plug into the lamp?
You love that. You always.
Well, I don't know.
Mesmerized by this.
I don't know who was like the main cat that discovered that. All the DJs did it, but I will tell you there was a guy in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn named Grandmaster Flowers, who was
He's big, right?
Big.
He was big.
Big legendary DJ. He was one of the first DJs in Brooklyn that I know of that took it a step further. Instead of breaking into a lamppost or plugging the socket into somebody's house, that was the second option. He was innovative in getting his own generator. So he was one of the first DJs that I ever saw in Brooklyn that got his own generator. And then what he did was, his whole motto was, if you wanted him to stay out there longer, he would go around with the hat with donation for gas for the generator.
Yo, first of all, I didn't know this, was Grandmaster Flowers Jewish? Because that's what it sounds like.
No.
That's the decision I would have made. I would have been like, first of all, I'm not figuring out how to plug into any of this stuff. This is ridiculous. And second of all, if you want to party, you're going to donate to my gas fund.
Nah, black guy.
All right, so you're hanging out in the park. This is the kind of stuff that's going on.
Right.
Starting to feel it.
Right.
When does this become a real thing for you where you save up for your turntable to do whatever you're going to do?
Okay, so after going, looking at the park jams, the other influence was the early radio shows like Jerry Bloodrock, Of course, Mr. Magic, the Supreme Team, if y'all ever heard of them. You know, the Zulu Beats with Africa Islam, those was my early influences too as well. So after going through that phase and wanting to take it seriously, I started collecting records first and buying records. But I didn't have a job. The only time I would get a job is a summer youth job, which was once a year. So the rest of the year I didn't have a job. So what I had to do was I would steal money from my grandfather's wallet.
Oh, that's so nice. After he takes you in, after you burn down your house, and then you steal money from his wallet.
My grandfather repossessed cars for a living, so he would always sleep all day during the day, and he would go out at night and repossess cars.
Oh, my God.
So while he's sleeping during the day, I would dip in the bedroom, and he would always leave his pants perfectly folded up with that wallet. That bulge would be right there. So I would dip in, take the wallet. I'll take $50 here, $100 here.
That much?
What? Because he would
didn't
just have
notice?
nothing but $50s and hundreds. $50 here, $100 here, whatever.
Oh my God, that's a lot
And
of
I
money,
would just
See, you're a hardened criminal.
and I would go to record stores in Manhattan and just buy my whole 80s, half of my 80s collection hip hop vinyl was through my grandfather.
When did he ever eventually find out?
He caught me. One day I'm walking in and I dip to take some bread. And I turn around and he's looking at me dead in my eye. But I'm thinking he's asleep. You know, like you know how somebody turn around and they half sleep. So I walk out. I'm like, nah, he half sleep, whatever. So like maybe a day later, he was like, "You think I didn't see what you did, right? Think I didn't see what you did? You're gonna get your ass beat. You're gonna get your ass beat." And then it took like another 3 days for him to whoop my ass. He dangled me by my feet upside down, and just with the belt and whoop me. And it's the funny shit is
How old are you that he was dangling you upside down?
I was about
guy?
no, my grandfather's like 6'4". I was about 12, 13, and that was actually the last butt whipping I got in my life. It's the crazy thing is I didn't cry. All I did was looked at the clock and see how long the ass whipping was going to be.
And how long did it last?
6 minutes. Dougie Fresh, you're on. 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on.
Oh my gosh!
And I didn't cry. And I think that's what made him beat my ass for so long, because I didn't cry.
My favorite thing about this story, Ciph, is that at that point, C had been stealing so casually,
Right.
that you were rolled up like it was just an ATM. You were just like, all right, time to take out my
He
$100.
wasn't even sneaking. Just
No.
walked in.
And I would come in with records, and my grandma was like, wondering, but she just was like, okay, all right, whatever. I'd rather see you with records than drugs, I guess. You know what I mean? Bringing drugs in the house. So I guess that's the way my grandmother looked at it.
So you start collecting your own records, and you start making tapes. What were you doing?
Like making the pause tapes and so on and so forth. And then
Making all your high school friends listen to them?
no, because what we would do is we would listen to the Supreme Team at night.
What channel was the Supreme Team on?
WHBI. That
Oh,
was
HBI.
105.9, if I'm correct. WHBI. And we would listen to them, record their show, and then listen back to it at school and play it in the lunchroom. So we wasn't really making the tapes or whatever. We would just be listening back to some of the radio shows, or let's say if the Cold Crush just performed somewhere at Harlem World or whatever, and that tape circulated around the city, we would get a copy of it and play it back at school.
And what school you go to?
Sarah J. Hill High School.
And that was with Easy Mo B's. Who's AB?
AB from Rapping is Fundamental. He was in the group Rapping is Fundamental.
He went to that school too?
Did AB go to... No, AB didn't go to Sarah J. I went to Sarah J. with Kane, with Big Daddy Kane.
I think he said AB went there too because they both knew Kane.
Nah,
That's what you're saying, right?
No, but they met Kane.
I
They
thought
met
so.
the Easy Mo B and AB and all of them. They met Kane through when Kane started coming around LG with me.
Oh.
And then Kane got
I
down
thought
with
he
my...
said, all right.
got down with my crew.
Who gives a
Because Easy Mo B was, born in a very, very religious family. So
yeah, he was telling us.
he didn't go to school with me and Kane.
So at what point does it start becoming like a serious thing for Young? And when do you get the name Mr. C?
I got the name Mr. C. My name was Master C, of course, because at that time
It had to be Master.
everybody was Master or Grandmaster this.
Or a wizard.
And my aunt was graduating at the time, and for her to get up her senior dues, she was selling office supplies, pens, pads, and stuff like that. So I was like, Candy, I want to buy some office supplies to help you with your senior dues. And I told her to put Master C on it, and it came back Mr. C.
And that was it.
And then I kept the name.
Oh!
And the only person that had that Mr. was Mr. T at the time. So I was like, I can go with this.
Oh, awesome.
So it was literally by
he's like,
mistake.
he saw
How he felt, he was like,
saw the
"Oh,
Mister, he's
Mister,
like,
that's better than Master."
Right.
Hot.
You know what? You said that she was. Your cousin was in office supplies.
My cousin was graduating from high school and she sold office supplies to get her senior dues up, to pay for her senior dues.
What was her name?
Candy.
Ciph, you can only imagine that Candy, in dealing with office supplies, if she'd had the foresight to think about Squarespace. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If she could have thought about Squarespace and making a website back then, think about how early C could have been on in this era. And I do want to thank our friends over at Squarespace for making this incredible episode with Mr. C possible.
Thank you.
If you're looking to build a new website, build it beautiful with our friends at squarespace.com. Ciph, if you go there right now, type in the code WANEP.
Oh, I would.
Not only do they give you an amazing discount, all right, but you're also supporting the One Up podcast so we can continue to do amazing episodes like this one with Mr. C that everyone's been waiting for so long. So head over to squarespace.com right now. Ciph is rebuilding his site there.
Yeah.
I got to talk to my boy. Shout out to my man Jason Patterson, JP, my web guy. He's been super busy because we got to switch over our whole thing to the Squarespace situation. We're going to have the One Up site there. Everything we're doing, we're going to be doing with Squarespace moving forward. So if you want to support the One Up podcast, and if you're not a web developer, but you want to have an amazing, easy website, simply go to squarespace.com, type in the code ONEUP, and get your blog started, your website. They'll do a store for you, e-commerce, everything you need at Squarespace. Build it beautiful.
That's beautiful.
You like that? You like how I segued? You didn't know where I was going with Candy.
No, that was great. That was great.
Well, she was in office supplies. So you get the name Mr. C.
Right. Then I brought my first pair of turntables.
What'd you buy? Where'd you buy them? And how much?
They was like $100 a piece. It was a sale. It was a sale. Madison Square Garden and Panasonic had a sale inside Madison Square Garden where they were selling nothing but Panasonic stuff, and they had the SB 100s, which was straight arm turntables, and those were my first pair of turntables that I brought at Madison Square Garden.
Direct drive? You could scratch
No,
them?
they was belt drive.
They were belts. You still couldn't really scratch.
They was belt drive, I do believe, but no, you could scratch on it. They was pretty good.
They weren't bad.
They wasn't bad. I got accustomed to scratching on them.
I mean, I guess when you think about it, if you have good slip mats, you really can
There
use.
was no good slip mats back then.
But I'm not keep in mind
they
they was straight arm. They wasn't the curve, so you had to get adjusted of DJing on straight arm and it being kind of belt driven.
Oh, that is different that it's straight arm. But how does that affect you? Really? Does the straight arm affect you?
Well, I mean, because if you're accustomed to working with the curve arm kind of hugs to the vinyl differently than a straight arm turntable. So
it's just the way your hands are.
Yeah. But a lot of DJs had those at first. And then I didn't get 1200s until I got with Kane till we got our record deal. I didn't get no 12. No,
you were using these the whole time?
The whole time. Up until.
And what mixer did you get?
Newmark. Then I started falling in love with Newmark mixers.
Newmark was already in the game that early?
Yes, absolutely.
Are they the first ones that were really in the game?
I mean, like I said, the Clubman mixer, but they were so big.
And who made Clubman? What was that company?
I can't. I think it was an independent company.
See, what was the name of the mixer you're talking about? The Clubman what?
The Clubman. Type in Clubman 101. I think. They were so big and bulky.
Let's see what this little gem looks like. Oh man, you were out there.
Let me see.
It looks like
I haven't seen one in so long.
Yeah, I seen those.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's the color. See, and that. See how long that fader is?
Oh my!
See how long the fader was?
Ciph, look how long that. Yo, honestly, I need one of those. I'm not saying. Let me say this. I need one of those.
And then we had a phase of using knob mixers, but I just can't remember the name of the knob mixer. It was straight just knob mixers that we was using. And then Newmark came and just.
You remember what the early Newmark was?
I cannot remember the.
How was the quality of this Clubman one? Sorry.
Oh, incredible! That's why everybody used it because you had like that Clubman mix, and then you had them Bose speakers. Everybody loved Bose speakers back in that era because the whole myth was Bose speakers never blow out. But the Clubman mixer, it was the quality coming out the Clubman mixer was incredible.
All right, let's see if you can still get a Clubman mixer.
Why don't you type in Newmark Mixer 80s or Newmark Mixer 70s, and then I can show you maybe.
Well, hold on. First, I'm looking on eBay to see if you can still buy a Clubman. You know what? By the way, Clubman must have been Newmark. Is that possible?
I don't know.
Because when I'm searching Clubman, all that's coming up is Newmark.
Newmark might have brought, maybe Newmark might have brought Clubman.
You could Google that.
I probably could. I probably could bring up the whole history there.
But Newmark kind of took over after Clubman in that era, in the 80s era.
Is it the same Clubman that makes that green gel in the barbershop? Clubman?
Ciph, I doubt it. I doubt it.
Maybe they weren't making enough money in the mixer business, and they went to the green gel business.
So where
or yellow with the extra hold.
Where do we get to the real hip hop story starting for you?
As far as what, like
this becoming like
where's Kane? I mean,
like everything when it starts getting on.
No, Kane. I met Kane in high school, so that's like I met Kane maybe 85, 86. Huh?
Were you friends?
No, we met. I met him.
There's no way you could be friends.
No,
at first.
I met Kane in the lunchroom. You know, there was a big. I'm eating lunch, and there was like a big crowd surrounding somebody, and I walked over there. And I just heard this dude say, "I got braids in my hair just like Stevie Wonder." And then that's who that was. That was MC Kane. And then after we got out of the lunch, I was like, "Yo, won't you get down with my crew? I got a crew in Brooklyn and LG, Lafayette Garden Projects. The name of the crew is called the Magnum Force." And Kane was like, "Nah, man, I roll solo, man. I don't really grow with no crew, man. I just roll solo." So I was like, "Yo, just come around my way. Come hear me play. Come hear the rest of my guys, and let's see what happens."
Who else was in this crew?
We had a dude named Shep Love. I can't remember their MC names. It's like Shep, a guy named Monkey Roy.
I heard a lot of good things about him. Who would you say became the biggest star?
Now, it was two DJs in the crew. You had myself, and there was another DJ named AJ Fresh.
Okay.
And AJ Fresh, if you listen to any of the early Kane stuff from Long Live the Kane, Kane shouts out AJ Fresh on a lot of the records.
Like he was around still?
No, he had passed away at that time.
Oh.
But a lot of the Kane records, he was like, R.I.P. to AJ Fresh.
How did he pass away?
He got killed. I think, and it was just by mistake. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I think he was in a store, like in a candy store, and the guy was going after somebody else and shot him.
Damn.
He shot the wrong guy.
So
Kane
eventually comes and hangs out.
Do you have Set It Off?
Of course.
Yeah, play Set It Off. Go to the end of Set It Off. You hear him say, "Rest in peace to AJ Fresh."
Let's see.
But yeah, it was me and AJ Fresh and Kane and like four other MCs that was down with the crew. That's the remix, man.
Yeah,
Where's the original version?
What is that?
Where's the original version?
You don't have that label as original, do you?
I don't have my full hard drive here.
I hate when you say that.
Oh my God!
I
You don't have the Rosenberg.
All right, hold on. No, don't give up, because I also have Nori featuring Swizz Beatz. Fine, bud. I got it. All right. Sorry, I don't know.
Can't make it up.
He doesn't do the shout out on the remix?
No,
It's all different.
because at the end is just music all the way at the end.
You know what I'm going to do? Because now that we're having this happen, I'm going to pull it up on YouTube because I'm determined. All right, but so either way, how long did he hang out with you guys before?
Well, he came after I told him to come around our way. He came around our way maybe a couple of days later. I had my turntables and everything set up at Shep Love House, one of the MCs, and once he heard me play, that was it. I got him. He was like, "Yo, listen, whatever."
But just from what? Like just like how you played?
Yeah, like just him seeing my record collection and him seeing the way that I DJ'd, and then that just kind of made him kind of hang out with us more and coming around the project more. And then it turned into him hanging out with us to him battling different MCs in the projects and LG. And then he started getting his weight up, and then everybody was like in the projects like, "Yo, who is this guy from Lewis Avenue? Who's MC Kane, whoever?" And he would just. When we would have park jams, because then at that time, that's when I started DJing in the park. And then Kane would battle other rappers around the way and would take them out. And then his name started going, blowing up. And then there was a local promoter named Eric D.
Okay.
Eric D. And he would do shows at places like the Sumner Armory in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, and Willoughby Temple in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. And he would have me and Kane and Magnum Force perform. And other local rap groups like the Playboys, that was another rival that we used to go up against. And but then he would also bring Dougie Fresh and Eric B. and Rakim or Jazzy Jeff from the Fresh Prince or Biz Markie to perform. And he would have like these big parties.
Were any of these guys known yet?
We was all known locally around our way, in our little area. But then, like I said, Eric D. would bring in the big hip hop acts to perform with us. So we would open up for those guys at those at like these places
So
around
do
Brooklyn.
you remember who you opened up for specifically?
Yeah, I just said Eric B. and Rakim.
Oh, you actually opened up for them.
Yeah, Eric B. and Rakim.
So Eric B. and Rakim were that far ahead of Kane? They were a couple years ahead?
Yeah, because Kane, Eric B. and Rakim came out in 86, and then we didn't come out to 88.
To 88, yeah.
Right, 87, 88.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
I mean, the album's 88.
Okay.
Right, but our first record, Just Rhyming with Biz, was 87, but the album came out in 88, so we was like about 2 years behind them.
Was it Raw before the album?
Yeah, right, yeah, Raw came out before the album. Raw was 87.
Like Prism.
The whole Brooklyn posse, blase, and may I send this out to the one known as AJ Fresh. Peace, my brother.
Well, he gets the big shout out.
I didn't get an RP though.
He just gave him sends it out to him.
Yeah.
And peace.
Who are all those people?
Yo, yeah. Do you know how many of those people do you know when he shout those people out?
I know a lot of them people.
And, a
lot of them like Brooklyn street dudes. But it's like Kane. Kane got so popular in Brooklyn that the street dudes wanted to be around Kane. So then Kane figured if I shout them out, then I'm gonna have that street cred to where, they're gonna protect me.
But how,
when we're around doing our shows, I'm gonna be good.
But isn't that a balance between shouting them out and showing them love and getting in a situation where it's like, I don't know, extortion or like you have to worry about them?
No. At that time, at that time, the hood cats just wanted love. They just wanted, they just giving them a shout out on a record
was pretty
look
good. They felt big
in the street. Because they was already big in the street, but then they get a shout out on a record. Between like Kane and Rakim, they both would like roll with, street OG Brooklyn cats and shouting them out on the record. If you remember the Paid in Full album with Rakim, he had Supreme Magnetic and all these hood dudes on the album cover. All of that just gives the hood guys more credibility and then it makes the rappers even be more protected by those guys.
Right. So when you were meeting those guys, Eric B. and Rakim, and opening up, were you like, did they seem like they were bigger than life already, or did you feel like you guys were close to their level?
A combination of both. I mean, we was we was doing our thing locally or whatever the case is, but we still felt like being on the show with Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince or Sparky D, we felt like, this is like really big. So, it's kind of like your hand is reaching out to try to touch somebody, but you still ain't reaching that shoulder to say I belong in this club. You know what I mean? So it was a combination of both.
What was the first record you guys did that you guys actually recorded, you and Kane? Or Kane, period.
The first record we recorded was I'll Take You There, which is on the Long Live the Kane album, which was
Thank you, Seth.
That was the remake
the first one?
That was the first record we recorded. That for the album. The first record we recorded just as a demo was Just Rhyming with Biz.
So Just Rhyming with Biz.
Did Kane write that?
Kane wrote that, but there's a guy named Shimshon, DJ from LG. Shimshon. He was an Israelite. He actually did the drum pattern for Just Rhyming with Biz. And we recorded that originally at Shimshon's house. And then once we got the deal, then Marley kind of reproduced it, but kind of kept
drums?
He kept Shimshon's drum pattern, because Kane kind of instructed Marley how to do it, and then Marley kind of recreated it, but we still gave Shimshon the credit on Long Live the Kane album.
So this was the demo that got him signed to Cold Chillin'.
Well, this wasn't the demo that got him signed. Basically, what got Kane signed to Cold Chillin' was just him rolling with Biz and doing shows with Biz Markie.
So how did the Biz relationship start? Just from opening?
Because Biz used to come.
Biz told us this.
Biz used to.
I know, but Biz, just from Biz being around?
No, Biz used to come to our high school, to Sarah J. Hill High School, to me and Kane's high school, and hang out in the front of the high school.
So just from that and getting to see what y'all were doing,
right,
that was enough for him to know.
And then he would take Kane to shows. Like, he would take Kane out of school and take him to different shows.
Were you older? Biz was older?
Who, Biz?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit older. A couple of years.
Out of school?
Yeah, out of school.
Okay.
That's all you need, though. If he was 19 and y'all were 16, that was
something like that, yeah. So Biz would take Kane out of school and then have Kane do shows with him. Like, there was famous shows, Mike and Dave, these guys named Mike and Dave from Harlem. Either they're from Harlem or the Bronx. They used to always do shows in Harlem and the Bronx. And they would do shows in these in schools. And
daytime?
No, nighttime.
Oh,
and
so why do you have to take him out of school?
Because he had to, he would get him out of there.
Practice, man.
You know what I mean? Whether it's practicing routines or whatever. So they would always do like Mike and Dave shows, and these shows would be in public schools or junior high schools, and they would literally have to. Kane and Biz would perform on top of the lunch table. Crazy. So these parties was like $5 or whatever, and they would perform on top of the lunch table. And I'm saying this because it was so crowded that the table would be sweaty from so many people being there. So Kane and Biz is performing on these lunch tables.
Slipping and shit?
Slipping and sliding.
Were you DJing?
No, I wasn't DJing. Cool V was DJing.
V,
but then later on with me...
Come on, Cipha.
Later on when me and Kane got our situation going and got our deal, then we had to perform for the Mike and Dave show. So I remember being on top of them school tables and it was fucking slipping
Did you
and sliding.
go when...
No.
When Kane
and Biz and Roland, I was nah.
Just Kane.
Just Kane.
Kane had to bring one person.
Nah, Kane was going by himself.
Really?
Roland by himself.
Well, yeah, because Biz is the guy, and bringing him around, you couldn't really bring anyone, right?
Yeah, I would at least one.
Yeah, I know. You're unusual. You would have 4. You would have brought Drewski.
Drewski
would have been a baby.
And Kane and Biz, when they would perform together, they used to do this routine, which was kind of like Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick's Treat Them Like a Prostitute routine. And it was about Christmas. And, Biz would do the beatbox and Kane would be rapping and
treat Jesus like a prostitute.
And, but Kane would kind of do these rhymes and I can't remember all the rhymes. I remember the one little part when Kane was like, you're on your menstruation, your menstruation. I can't remember it, but it was like a routine similar to like the Treat 'em Like the Prostitute routine, but it would always get a reaction in the club. And one of the lines in the routine Kane would say is, wait a minute, you forgot your Kotex. And he would throw a Kotex in the crowd. And that would the crowd would fucking erupt. So
From throwing a tampon.
Yes, from throwing a tampon.
But that means Kane had to
gotta stop at the store.
Yeah.
Why?
I gotta buy tampons.
Wait a minute. Yeah, every show he had to get a tampon. He had to get a Kotex.
It's amazing.
Now, why did people like Biz? Kane wrote most of the song, a lot of the songs, right?
Yeah, Kane wrote.
But Biz was just such his personality was crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Biz.
Everybody loved Biz. But, at that time, nobody knew who wrote what. You know what I mean? Like, you thought Biz wrote Nobody Beats the Biz, but Kane wrote Nobody Beats the Biz. But nobody didn't know who wrote what, so that didn't really...
How did Biz get popular before he met,
Because Biz was just... He would be one of them type of guys that go to every single party and do the beatbox and just jump on anywhere, any party.
And everybody loved them.
There's a famous line that Biz says, wherever I lay my hat is my home.
Yeah.
And, Biz always, when people always say, where's Biz from? Biz could be like, I'm from Long Island, I'm from Brooklyn,
Jersey.
I'm from Queens, I'm from Jersey.
Queensbridge, yeah.
Biz would just be all over the tri-state area, just everywhere performing.
Right.
And that's how he got popular. Literally because of that.
Well, it's the Kane in the flesh. Of course I'm fresh. Oh, you thought that I was rotten? I beg your pardon. To me, getting paid and getting busy fall together. So a man of my aviance.
Never.
Now, how involved are you in these records? How much were you... why isn't it Big Daddy Kane and Mr. C?
It was originally... That's a great question. When we did our deal with Prism, Cold Chillin', it was originally... supposed to be Big Daddy Kane and DJ Mr. C, like Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And
who got funny style? Let's go. Let's hear it.
Nobody didn't really
got crazy.
Kane threw you under the bus.
No. Nobody didn't really get funny style. We just all decided just probably better off just being Big Daddy Kane by itself.
Yeah.
But the deal was Big Daddy Kane and Mr. C. So as far as royalties, as far as getting paid, I got paid just like Kane got paid.
Group.
Right.
But were you influential in making the records?
Yeah. I mean,
you don't get producer credit for anything, but producing was different back then.
Yeah,
also.
because Marley had a deal with Prism and Cold Chillin' where he was like the house producer.
Right.
So even though a lot of the stuff we would tell Marley, hey, put this with this, And then,
Right.
you
But
know,
he was still the guy producing it.
but he was
ultimately.
still, he still had to sample it. He still had to structure it. You know, Marley has always been known for his 808s and his famous shakers. You hear the shakers on a lot of the classic Coachella records. So Marley still was influential in putting them records together. But a lot of those times, Kane would bring in some of the tracks to sample, or Biz would bring in some of the tracks to sample. But Marley definitely had to put it together.
And then Kane, like, because you have strong opinions. See, we know you
Right.
for years. Like, you would tell Kane if you didn't like something or if it shouldn't be on the album.
Absolutely. We you know, like when we recorded I'll Take You There, I was there for the whole recording process or whatever the case is. But you know, at that time, man, it wasn't really nothing that we was doing early that I felt like, nah, we shouldn't do this or we shouldn't do that, because that's the hungry era.
Yeah.
So when during the hungry era, everything is sounding hot and dope because you're just like, your ideas, the ideas is flowing more at that time than in the later years, if you understand what I'm saying. So it was just like everything was just clicking at the same time. And then when we got to start recording with Marley, we first recorded Long Live the Kane at Marley's apartment in Astoria, Queens. And, you know, if you hear a song like On the Bug Tip from the Long Live the Kane album, there's a part where at the end of the song, you hear Kane rhyming, and then you just hear some banging, and that's me like banging on Marley's studio door, you know, trying to make a beat, you know what I mean, or whatever the case is. It's like we was just doing innovative stuff like that inside the studio. Or I would do scratches for the records, and I literally, the turntable, the mixer was on the floor, and I had to scratch on the floor and do some of the scratches for the records, or whatever the case is. You know, if you listen to Raw, near the end of Raw,
There we go.
listen to after the third verse. If you hear the scratches that I did on Raw, I actually
Original demo or regular?
the original. It doesn't really actually the original. Let's do the original.
Okay, hold on.
If you listen to the end of Raw, after the third verse, I'm scratching, and during part of the scratch, the record skipped. It skips, but it goes back on beat.
Yes, I remember this.
There it comes, like less than 5 seconds. That's a mess up. That was a mess up. But it went back on beat. I mean, it went back to the part.
Yeah.
So that wasn't that. That was a little.
How did it?
Once I bring it back, it just went back to the hit me. Yeah.
Hold on.
Did you have a mark on the record?
No, I never did that. I never marked my record.
I love rocket records. The best pastime I've had.
All right, so
Play it again.
hold on. This part that's crazy.
There it comes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Now you talked about the hungry times.
Yeah.
Let's talk about real quick when seemingly the hungry times ended.
Right. Okay. It didn't end there.
Was it the beginning? It has to be the beginning of the end.
No. This is still the hungry time.
It's not the beginning of the end.
No. Ain't no half stepping.
Well, this had to be when the success started changing, right?
The success was changing. We was riding U.S. Air a lot. Remember U.S. Air? We was like,
U.S. Air is still here.
is it?
Yes.
We was like all over the country just doing shows and doing concerts. And,
But the money wasn't rolling in from this.
The money was rolling in.
Who's
the
on the
money
road?
was rolling in from Raw. From Raw on, the money was rolling. So from Raw into Ain't No Half Step and Set It Off.
I
the
think
money
that's
was
what he's
rolling.
saying. How could you be hungry if the money's
Yeah,
rolling
why are
in?
we still hungry?
I mean, because you're traveling around the world.
You're seeing everything for the first time.
You're seeing everything for the first time. You're getting mad box, getting mad pussy, and it's a beautiful thing. So the hunger is still there.
Wait, from Raw though, you're on the road.
From Raw, we was on the road.
How many people on the road? You,
It was
Kane,
me,
Scoob,
Kane,
and Scrap,
Scoob, and Scrap,
and a road manager.
road manager JC, security, Kane security. Kane had one security.
Jeez.
And that was really about it. And then Ant Live, which was actually Eric B's brother,
Yeah.
used to roll with us. So that was about
7
it.
or 8 people.
Yeah, that was in the early part. And then, like around Smooth Operator time, second album, then we had a bigger entourage because then it was like more shit.
Okay, so who were you on the road with when you first started going around? Just yourself? Were you guys doing a promo?
No, we
thing?
would do shows with we was heavy doing shows with MC Hammer. Seemed like we was always doing shows with Hammer, Def Jeff, artists like that at the time. We was always doing shows.
How much were you getting for shows though?
Maybe $2,500 at that time.
Jesus.
Maybe. And then it grew, the more we came with more hits, then it grew.
But even flights probably cost more than what you were getting fucking paid.
Yeah. The early part, it was, it was maybe about $2,500.
But were you in a van for some of it too? If it was East Coast, would you drive?
If it was East Coast, we would drive. But if it was like something local in Jersey or Connecticut, we would drive. But anything else past that, we would.
DC, you would fly?
Yeah, we was flying.
You guys are nuts. Terrible money, man.
We wasn't paying for it. The promoter was paying for the travel.
Promoter paid for travel.
Right.
Okay. Plus $2,500.
Right.
Yeah, but also, what was Kane's attire on the tour bus?
On the tour bus or on when we do shows?
On a tour bus.
Well, we didn't get to the tour bus to the second album. We wasn't tour bus.
But you told me on a tour, maybe the air conditioner broke.
Oh, yeah.
And Kane was just butt naked on the tour bus.
No, he wasn't butt naked.
I'm on the flight, baby. I'm not going on that bus.
Yo, let me tell you, we during the second album, it's a Big Daddy thing album, we went on tour. And Kane was like, yo, don't touch the air conditioner. Because he liked to have the air conditioner warm for his throat so he don't get hoarse. So this motherfucker, we on tour, it's summertime, he would have the air conditioner shit on 80 degrees, 85 degrees. So we was literally walking around with underwear on. Literally walking around with our underwear on. So
That's quite a sight to imagine, by the way.
All of us just walking around with underwear on. Because Kane didn't want us touching the air conditioner. And then if we touched it, you get docked $50. Kane's favorite shit was you're going to get docked $50. If I fucked up DJing the show, he would say it on stage, you're getting docked $50. Scuba Scrap mess up on a dance move, you're getting docked $50. That was his famous shit.
Loved it.
So I can't remember who did it. I don't know if it was Scuba Scrap. I can't remember, but the top of the tour bus, they have one of those things that you could open up and have the air come out or whatever. So they opened that up. We got some cool air coming in. Next thing you know, it was a bad rainstorm, and the hatch flipped open and fucking flew away. So the rain was seeping into the fucking.
Oh my god!
Kane was pissed the fuck off.
Who got docked for that? One of you got docked.
That was one of them things where because nobody didn't snitch nobody got docked. But Kane was pissed the fuck off.
Well, let's talk about the levels of vagina that Big Daddy Kane was getting thrown at.
It's crazy
in his heyday.
It's crazy because I was just thinking about that the other day because I was downloading some music because now with this new radio station I got to keep up with old music, So I was downloading. I don't know if y'all remember this hip hop group called Silk Tom's Leather from Atlanta. This was Jermaine Dupri's group.
Oh yeah.
I downloaded their stuff, and I was like, "Yo, Kane fucked with one of those girls in the group." Then, I was downloading some MC Light stuff. Then I was like, "Yo, Kane." I don't know if Kane got with Light, but I know he was trying to push up on Light. Then I was downloading some Antoinette stuff.
Oh my god.
Then I was like, yeah, I remember when Kane and Antoinette was together. And it just is, Kane messed with us.
Then Madonna came on TV.
Madonna and
Naomi Campbell.
Naomi Campbell. But yeah, Kane ran through a lot of broad. I remember one night, I can't remember the town we was in, but Kane fucked literally like 8 broads in one night.
Oh. I
and
don't
so
even know how to do that.
he had like 3
How'd he do it?
He had like 3 hotel rooms in the same hotel, but each room was under a different name. So one room was under Black Caesar. Another room was under Mama Wildy. Now, Mama Wildy was the guy named from Blackula, the famous classic black exploitation flick Blackula. His name was Mama Wildy. So he had alias names under his rooms, and he had 3 different rooms, and he was just smashing broads all night in
That
3
sounds
different
tiring.
rooms.
How did he do
It's
it?
like it was literally like 8 broads.
Did he? But did he? Would you be able to tell just from jump when you'd get somewhere and he'd do a show that it was just whatever he wanted was happening?
Yeah,
It was
I mean,
just-
there was it would be so crazy. We would get to certain towns. We would get to a place like Detroit, and at that time, Detroit was like the pimp capital, and the pimps would come and see Kane backstage,
Or they just bring him stuff too.
and just bringing them mad hoes. And now these are hoes, so they're like 30, 35, and we're like in our 20s, and the pimps was giving Kane these hoes.
Now, I also have to imagine you had some situations, though, too, considering rap was still back then. I mean, obviously, girls love Kane, but dudes love Kane, right? He was the dude. So there had to be a lot of situations where dudes were coming with girls, and girls were leaving dudes for Kane.
Yeah. There's been times when a girl asked her boyfriend to take to the hotel, go to the hotel, got with Kane. The boyfriend stayed downstairs because he don't know where his girlfriend is, but he's just waiting for her. Meanwhile, Kane was smashing her upstairs.
Well, what else would he think was happening? If my wife was like, "Hey, can you take me to the hotel where so-and-so's staying?" I'm like, why? So
I'm gonna tell you,
just take me there and shut up.
The super ultimate, we was in an in-store, and I want to say it was in Chicago. We was doing an in-store, Kane was signing autographs. A cop who was supposed to have been protecting us at that time got in the limo and fucked Kane. A cop.
Nice.
Oh, it's a big daddy thing.
It was crazy at that time.
So how big was Smooth Operator?
Oh, that was a humongous record. Between Smooth Operator and I Get the Job Done, 1989, those was like our two biggest records,
I Get the Job Done, is that big?
What? That
really?
was a humongous record.
On some like Teddy Riley,
right, because Teddy Riley produced it. And those was the two records that really took us to the mainstream. Like, you
got a Job Done? I don't even like I hate it.
No, that was one of our biggest records. Smash.
Okay.
I mean, that got us on Arsenio Hall. That got us Soul Train Music Awards. That got us. Yeah, that was I Get the Job Done was the record.
Can I argue something though?
Yes.
It was also the beginning of the end to a certain extent.
Oh shit.
That was the beginning of the end. Now you're getting into the beginning of the end because what happened was when Smooth Operator and I Get the Job Done did so well. Now Warner Brothers, who was distributing for Cold Chillin', they expected Kane to keep making these type of records. And so it was the beginning of the end.
What? Skip in the middle?
Oh.
Biggest record. That was probably.
But I see why. It's basically It's basically like a Teddy Riley R&B record that went along.
It is.
But that went along with all the other Teddy
New
Riley
Jack
records
Swing
at the
era.
time. So it fit.
Right.
No, when you hear it now, it sounds like any of the producers' runs. It's a mustard run.
Yeah.
It's just the same. That's the same record pretty much.
And at that time, Teddy was so huge that anything that he recorded, radio was jumping right on it.
Right.
So when we did that record with Teddy Riley, that got us everywhere. That got us the TV and all the other national exposure and so on and so forth. But it also was the gift and the curse because then, Warner Brothers was on Kane to try to repeat that, and Kane really didn't want to go that route, but to please Warner Brothers, he tried to.
When did you even hear?
Why please Warner? I guess back then you didn't.
But hear about what our normal response was. He brought up Get the Job Done. You and I were both like, eh. You know what I'm saying? Like that means something.
Right.
I remember that being like, that was the beginning of like, I didn't care quite as much as I did up till then.
Yeah, but
he still had moments.
But the success of that record caused him to get with Madonna.
Of course.
And all that other type of shit.
It led to a lot of good stuff
A lot of good stuff first before.
Then who did you hit the road with after that?
We was on the Budweiser Superfest with like Patti LaBelle and Tony and After Seven and.
So it took you to a totally different tour,
totally different baby
and
face.
There's no thought in your mind like, oh, maybe we're going too far or the street. Like back then there wasn't talk like that, right? You were trying to get as much as you could get.
In the height of I Get the Job Done, there was no talk. The talk happened after we tried to make records after that. Because I Can Do It Right and other songs that followed after that. Right. That's when it started talking like, yo. Because we didn't try to cross over pop. Right. We was just trying to do more mainstream black music.
Radio and stuff.
Right. You understand what I'm saying? Which really we was ahead of our time because it took a couple of years later for the Biggies or the Puffies to come along and make a record with an R&B artist. Like we was doing records with Barry White,
right? And
we was being told that we was selling out, but then yet a couple of years later, Marion Meth makes All I Need, and then it's like it doesn't seem as much of a sellout. So it was like we was too early. We was too early.
You were a little too early for that,
right?
That's really interesting. How much do you keep relationships like from those touring in the early days? Like if you see Will Smith to this day.
If Will Smith was to walk in here, and I'm not saying this to be cocky or nothing like that.
No, I'm
if
curious.
Will Smith was to walk in here and he was to see me, he would lose his mind.
Well, I want to say two things. See if that
Have
happens.
you seen him since he became like Will
Yeah,
Smith?
I've seen him. I've seen him at Hot 97, and he's like, "Yo, see ya!"
If someone,
it's one of those things where, and I don't even have to say nothing.
Right.
Ice Cube walks in.
Same
I don't.
thing.
Queen Latifah walk. I don't have to say anything.
Listen, I want you to know. See if Will Smith does walk in, your Juan Epstein is over.
But it's a beautiful thing because
Ice Cube walks in is
if Ice Cube walks in,
done.
yo, Latifah. It's you know what I mean. Like
What about Madonna?
I didn't. I met Madonna once, but she wouldn't. She wouldn't remember me.
Or,
If you're like, yo, my friend used to smash. Maybe if you said it like that. So did you start building relationships at those points, or was it just casual?
It was just casual because we was all touring together. So it was like we was all hanging out together, touring together. So it wasn't really like.
By the way, how do you stay in touch with someone then? Everyone's on
Call
the
their
road.
house.
Everyone's on the road. They're not going to be home for a year.
You call their mom's house.
So you're like, yo, it was great meeting you, man. What's your number? You write down their number in a book.
Well, back in that era, you know what it was. The rappers was cool with the rappers, and the DJs was cool with the DJs. So I was more cooler with like
Jazzy Jeff.
Right, Jazzy Jeff and Heavy D. Who DJ for Heavy D? Eddie F.
Eddie F, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and Terminator X. I was all cool with the. It was more.
Norman?
The DJs had the fraternity, and the rappers had their own fraternity. But it was still like I know who you is, and you know who I am. If Ice-T walks in here, we're gonna be shooting the shit.
All right, I got to ask a question here. Joe, what are we at time-wise right now? This is very important.
It's very long.
It's 80 minutes.
So if it's 80 minutes.
Yeah.
We have not gotten
We haven't got to 90 yet. We're not
To
even
90.
in 90.
So normally, I would say we can't do a part 2. In the case of C, I feel comfortable saying we can.
You
What do
gotta
you think?
stop.
What do you think we should do?
It's not good. It's not gonna. We're gonna have to do a part 2.
What are we
Sorry,
gonna do?
C.
What are we gonna do? Another? Will you come back in a couple weeks?
Oh, absolutely.
But you're on the radio 24 hours a day. How you could do that again?
We'll make it happen.
But no, like for real, not like we'll do it again soon.
No. Whenever you want me.
So if we hit you in 2 to 3
if
weeks,
you want me next week or the week after, I can make it happen. Don't worry about that.
C's gonna make it happen.
I would say literally, I might say next Monday we just pick up.
Why Monday?
Wednesdays or Thursdays is
Or
better.
better?
For me. Wednesday or Thursdays is better.
You like Wednesday better?
Wednesday's
Wednesday was
our
our original
Wednesday.
day, and then we went back to Monday. We filled in on Monday.
Yeah,
So you would
Wednesday's
say
our
next.
day.
You would say next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday or any Wednesday or Thursday is better for me.
and then we can pick up post Kane. Essentially,
Is that all the? I need the
Is that the end?
Suge Knight Kane story.
Oh, the Suge Knight Kane story.
I need that.
We was on the road. We was doing shows with Second to None, rap group from L.A.
God, it's so crazy the randomness of who you guys were on the road with.
And Suge Knight was doing security for Second to None, and we had finished the show the night before. We was heading to the airport. There was one van that was able to take both groups to the airport. And the promoter told us we was able to go to the airport first, but then we get to the van, and then Second to None's like, nah, we're going to the airport first. Mm-hmm. And it started becoming a back and forth of who's going to take the van first. Suge Knight got a little loud, talked a little crazy, and he got stomped out.
Suge got stomped out.
He got stomped out.
By?
Scoob lover, scrap lover, my
Scoob
brother.
lover, scrap lover, security. He got stomped out.
And his crew didn't do anything.
Second to None, they was short. They was short. I don't even think they was there at that moment. I think Suge was kind of like just talking crazy or whatever, and he got stomped out. But then now, let's not get to a couple of years later, we had to do a show. I think it was the Budweiser Superfest at the Forum in L.A. And we get to the Forum in L.A. and we're being told that there's mad gang motherfuckers out there. Suge's people is outside waiting for us.
Suge, is he bigger at the time? Like known more, a little more?
This was still before Pac. This was still before Pac's superstardom. So he wasn't the Suge that we all know.
Right, but he was somebody in the streets. Obviously,
But
gang dudes were there.
yeah. So we was told that he was waiting for us outside. So we had to get a police escort to escort us out the Forum.
Full circle we are again. Because now I feel like you guys might be able to stomp him out again.
But then Suge tried to sign Kane to Death Row. And then Suge met with Kane. That was funny, too, because he met with Kane, and Kane was kind of leery of meeting Suge because Kane was like, yo, is this motherfucker going to remember the second to none shit.
Yeah.
Am I going to get stomped out? But that didn't happen. They met.
Did he
but
remember? He mentioned it? Or no?
I don't think so. I don't think Suge remembered it or
There's
whatever.
no way you could have did that deal. There's no way.
Nah, Kane was like, nah, I'm not. I'm gonna meet with him, but I'm not.
Now,
Yeah.
now, for some reason, just because I'm at Suge Knight and that era, and how I feel like he kind of bit Kane. Do you guys? Was Vanilla Ice ever around?
We did a lot of shows with Vanilla Ice.
For some reason, I thought that
Vanilla
was
Ice
possible.
bit Kane?
I
Is that
felt
what
like
they said?
I felt like style wise, in a weird way, the dancing, the overall look that Vanilla Ice was copying. I feel like Kane was
The
one
fade,
of them.
the high top fade to it, everything.
Yeah, I don't know. Hardcore running, like just the shit he was doing was very.
Right.
I get the job done.
We did a lot of shows with Vanilla Ice, Hammer, E40.
E40 back then
Oh
too.
yeah. E40, like that's when they was the clique, and it was one of them things when we went to the Bay Area, they would always open for us. They didn't have a deal yet, but they would always open for us because they was the big local group.
Damn, they were on that early grinding.
Yeah.
Because the it didn't start blowing.
Because you got to
for
remember,
them.
this is 88, 89.
And they popped 4 years later.
Yeah,
Something like
yeah,
that, 4 or
yeah,
5 years later.
yeah.
What about Eazy-E? Any
We did shows with Eazy-E and NWA all the time. We always had fun with those guys. Like,
what kind of guy was DJ Easy Rock?
DJ who?
Easy Rock.
Easy
Rock. Rob Bass.
Oh, they was cool as shit. We always did shows with them.
That's what I figured. I figured that was a
Always locally, we always did shows with them. Easy Rock and Rob Bass, they was cool. Eric B and Rakim, even though, and I guess we'll hold on to that for the next half.
Oh, yeah.
The whole Kane and Rakim thing, them going at it because
You just want to tease that for the next one?
yeah, because they was actually supposed to battle, but it never happened. But we'll talk about
By the
that.
way, it's not too late.
But Ab Liva
It was
Eric B's brother.
huh?
Eric B's brother.
Eric B brother Ant Live used to roll with us.
Live.
Ant
Not
Live.
Ant
Live.
Live from Who's Down with the Clips.
Yeah, Ant Live.
Oh, yeah, Ant Live.
was our road manager.
Right.
So Ant Live.
So
used
you
to-
were connected to Eric B.
Yeah, we was connected because through Ant Live, but then Ant Live was also the person that he'll come to Kane and say some shit. Yo. So Ra said no.
Right.
And then he'll go to Rakim and say Kane said something.
Yeah.
He was always the in between fucking motherfucker starting trouble.
What, was he starting trouble on purpose, or that he was just? That was
I
his
think it's a
personality?
combination of both because I think Ant Live really wanted to see that battle happen. But then, we had the Rap Mania. We were supposed to battle, and then I think it was supposed to be for $10,000, and it never happened.
I just want to say, it's unlikely, but it would still be interesting. I just want to say that. I think it would still be interesting.
G
right
Raps
now.
around.
Huh?
G Raps around. That's Juice Crew.
Yeah.
Of course.
Who else did I want to know about?
I mean, those guys are all around.
Everybody's.
Did you ever
around.
know that? Did you know G-Rap had brain surgery? And like in the height of like 88,
No, I
89, he
think
had
so.
almost died. Brain surgery.
Why?
We had cocaine use,
Oh.
pretty much. And we had our show. We had our big Juice Crew show at the Apollo Theater. And if you ever pull it up on Google, he wasn't there because he had brain surgery, so he was recovering. From
How long
brain
was he
surgery.
out for?
Yeah, he was out for a minute. Like we didn't think he was gonna pull through, but he pulled through, of course.
Wow. And were
Good
him and Kane always cool?
Always cool. Kane and G-Rap was always cool.
What about why is Kane not in the symphony video?
Kane is not in a symphony video because on the way to the video shoot,
It's a good question, Si.
I think Ciph knows the answer to it, but
I forgot.
he's in the shoot, but he was being filmed in the video studio. But on the way to the video shoot, Kane got into a beef with I cannot remember this rap group, Kings of Pressure. I want to say Kings of Pressure, and Kane shot one.
Kane shot someone?
And he shot Adam
Oh my
on the
God.
bus, on the tour bus.
Literally on the bus?
On the bus. They was everybody that was in the video was on the way to the shoot. And he got, I want to say Kings of Pressure. He got into a beef with one of those dudes.
The Kings of Pressure is the group that Coco Chanel was the DJ. Is
That's Kings of Swing.
Oh, Kings of Swing.
Siph,
Sorry.
Siph, what are you,
Kings
a
of Swing.
fucking idiot?
I forget my Kings of Leon.
And I may be saying the wrong group, but I'm almost for sure it's Kings of Pressure. But Kane
A beef
shot
about
at,
what?
I can't remember what the beef was about. And
Something
Kane,
stupid, probably.
and Kane shot at him, and then the fucking bullet ricocheted through the bus and all that shit.
And then Kane ran, and then like you
So then, because the video was done in Canada, so when they
of course.
so when they went there, the police found out about what happened. I think the bus driver snitched, and they started looking for Kane. And Kane, they had to get Kane out of there.
Oh shit!
Well, I want to say one
Never
thing.
got in trouble about it or nothing like that. But it's just so crazy because if all of those things would have happened in this era
Forget
with
it.
social media, like G-Rap brain surgery
Yeah.
and Kane shooting, it would have been crazy.
Well, I just want to say kudos to the bus driver. I would have done the same thing. And I can't believe that you guys shot the video for that in Canada.
I think it was. I want to say it was in Canada, either Canada or upstate New York, but it was definitely a far. I wasn't in the video neither, but
Were you on the bus?
I wasn't on the bus.
Oh, you weren't going?
No, I didn't go.
No, fuck his DJ.
We came back from a trip, and then
I don't like
from
the way
trip,
they treated you back then.
Nah, I wasn't really heavy into the videos. I really wasn't, as long as I was in our own videos, I was good. But to try to be in everybody else's video, I wasn't,
Yeah, I can see that. And last thing before we leave and start this part 2 journey, something about somebody getting kicked in the back in a hotel.
Oh, okay. Rochester, New York. We had a show with Ice Cube. I can't remember the other artists. And this is after the show. At that time, Kane got into a motorcycle accident, so he had a cast in his arm. We're on our floor at our hotel room. A girl approaches me and Kane, and she asks Kane, "Can I get your autograph?" Kane said, "I cannot sign the autograph because I got a cast on my arm." And Kane said, "But my DJ, Mr. C, he's right here. Won't you get his autograph?" So the girl was like, "I don't want his autograph. He ain't nobody." So she turned around and walked away. I fucking ran down that hallway and gave her a fucking flying kick to her back.
Is that Kane told us that story, right? Didn't Kane tell us that? I think Kane told us that.
The chick slid on the floor. So the police came. They started hiding me in different rooms. Ice Cube, everybody hide me in different rooms. Then they was like, "Yo, you're going to have to come downstairs." I come downstairs. They arrest me. The broad is acting like she's in traction. She got a fucking neck brace over her neck and a stretcher or whatever. And then I go to court. She stopped showing up to court, so the charges got dropped. I had to keep going up to Rochester to go to court.
Gotta hide him.
What is wrong with you? So what? She hadn't heard of you. You had no chance to kick her in the back.
My anger issues back then was ridiculous.
Let's see.
I don't believe
You
not a
have been angry in times that we've known you.
I got to tell you, but not anymore. She's very happy. All right, so see, part 2 next week.
Whenever y'all want to do it. Next week,
Next Wednesday,
let's do it.
we will lock it in part 2. Thank you so much.
Nah, appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Gabby, can you come take a picture of us
No
for us in here?
Jay-Z hanging with Kane.
We're gonna get there.
We'll get to all of that.
Shaheed,
All of that.
Biggie, where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn?
ODB, no, none of that.
It's all this crazy shit we gotta
Yeah,
get to.
like when I played Big's demo for Kane, and he was like, "He's all right."
See, exactly.
At the time, he was all right compared to what he became.
And compared to what Kane was at the time.
Mr. C is the first rap person I ever met.
Mr. C is?
Yeah.
What do you mean, rap person?
Like in the rap game. Like the first show I ever saw was Wu-Tang when I lived in Long Island. The first show I ever saw was a Wu-Tang concert where ODB broke his leg.
Oh yeah.
Fall off the stage.
I remember that.
That was the first show I ever saw. And then the first time ever I went to WBAU, Mr. C was up there. He's the first person I ever met.
Wow.
And I was like, holy
And remind me to tell y'all the LL Cool J Kane story when they had their little beef that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
And remind me to tell you about Kane and Slick Rick. They had their beef.
Damn. Hold on, I'm writing this down.
Where Slick Rick pulled the gun out on Kane.
Sorry?
Yeah. Remind me to tell you about that beef.
We're posing now, guys. Good stuff. See?
And lastly, I think it was Kane and Slick Rick. Because this is before they had beef, but the Kane and Slick Rick elevator competition. Remind me to tell y'all about that.
Hold on.
Okay.
Kane and Slick Rick elevator competition, Kane and Slick Rick beef, and Kane and LL beef.
I'm starting to think we might have spent way too much time on this motherfucker's grandmother's house. Shit here, man.
Kane and LL Cool J. All right, C, thank you so
All
much.
right, thank you for having me, fellas.
It's much appreciated. All right, Ciph, we want to bring in our friend, our bonus guest.
Yes.
We're just doing a quick couple minutes here at the end about a very cool subject.
He actually had to split.
All right, well, we are not going to do that today.
He
We'll do that-
left?
Yeah, he says he loves you.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Well, we'll do it again. Well, you got to hear pretty awesome stories from Mr. C.
Yeah, sorry you had to leave.
Hey, guys, you know what? You know what I'd like to say about to our audience right now, Ciph?
What's that?
You're fucking welcome.
Yeah.
Because this episode was a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Next week, part 2 with Mr. C. Anything else? Don'tgetgassed@gmail.com, Ciph?
Yes, please. Hit me up.
Thank you to Squarespace, Mr. C, and tweet us, Rosenberg Radio and
At
Cipha
Cipha
Sounds.
bitch.
We out. Holla. Peace, Carhartt girl.